All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. You're going to have to let me know how things are looking because I think I made a couple of mistakes here. YouTube is notifying me that apparently the expected resolution is 1440p, which it did not inform me. I hit low latency and it didn't tell me that it couldn't be in 4K. I think it's capped out at 1440. It's also telling me I have my bit rate too high. So, but if it's still coming through in higher resolution and good enough, that's all that matters. I'll have to correct it next time. Not a big deal. Just making sure everything's good on your end. And yes, I've labeled today's stream Press X podcast once again. We'll see if I stick with it. We'll see if I stick with Press X podcast. I go back and forth with it. I know some of you guys like it. I like it too. Maybe I'll just stick with it. I'll just keep calling it PXP. I don't know, because I've just been labeling it live, but I don't know. Why not? Blame Boss. Irfin, you like it? Unknown likes it. How many times do we need to press X? I haven't stopped yet. You could stop. All right. So we have some topics to discuss today. Apparently Fable was just delayed. I just saw that. People were telling me. I mean, I guess it's maybe not shocking, not that surprising. What's up, Dragon Knight? I'm okay. Yeah, guys, for those of you who are here right now, if you could do me a favor, hit that like button. Hit that like button. You think it was delayed because of GTA 6? Yeah, I mean, that could explain it. They did show off some gameplay and like a new trailer, and it looks pretty good. The combat sections were looking pretty rough. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look bad, I don't think. I wouldn't say it looks bad, but maybe you could tell. It's one of these things where you look at it and you're like, like graphically it looked really good, but when it comes to the actual like feel of combat based off of what we were seeing, it's like, I don't know. Looks pretty good overall, though. I mean, at least to me, it looks pretty good. I have to see more. It's not like they showed a ton. So you're saying, MBG, what's up, man? What's up, So you? Thank you for joining me today. Glad to have you here. Thank you for the super chat. They're selling shadows for 100 on Facebook Marketplace. Bro, what? You could just buy Assassin's Creed Shadows for $100. Poopy Snoopy, you're saying it's delayed because it's now full production on everything? I think they put out some kind of message saying why it was delayed. I didn't actually read it. Craig Duncan. I just want to start with really excited about the progress, really excited where Playground are. We previously announced the date for Fable is 2025. We're actually going to give Fable more time, and it's going to ship in 2026 now. While I know that's not maybe the news people want to hear, what I want to assure people of is that it's definitely worth the wait. And just I have unequivocal confidence in the Playground team. If you think about their history and legacy for Forza Horizon, and then it kind of just goes on there. But all right, well, all right. I mean, I don't know, man. I was, I guess, kind of hoping that Fable would come out this year, but it being delayed maybe isn't too shocking, you know. What is crazy is how long the game has been in development and when it was first announced. Like, Microsoft announced Fable, I think, in like 2017 or something, or 2018. So, yeah, they've been working on this game for a long, long, long time, man. Didn't even say early 2026. Roadmap in the mud. Yeah, I remember, Irfan. I remember when they revealed it. Well, I guess at the end of the day, all that's really going to matter is if they can deliver. Was it 2020, 2021? Oh, you know what? Yeah, you're right. You're right. I think I'm confusing when they announced that they acquired Playground Games. I think that's what I got confused with. 2020 sounds about right. 2020, 2021. Well, yeah, all that's really going to matter is if the game will be better because of the delay. It was at their 2020 showcase. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. Still a long time ago, if you think about it. Wasting time with Fable. The game looks rough, you think? I think I got to look at it a little bit more closely. I only watched the footage briefly on like Twitter or whatever when I scrolled past it. Let me check. Let me check again. I mean, graphically, it looks good. I can say that. Graphically, it looks very good. He's riding on horseback. Yeah, I'm watching the combat. It looks, I don't know. It doesn't, again, it doesn't look like terrible or bad, but it looks like one of these things where you kind of have to, like, I'm watching this clip right here where she's fighting, I guess, like a werewolf or whatever. Yeah, it's a little, I guess the way I'll put it is like this. It looks like it's their first time making a game with combat, I guess. Yeah. Like the way she's like dodging, it's a bit stiff. Doesn't mean it'll be bad though. I mean, it's one of these things where you kind of have to, I guess, play it or get your hands on it to really know how it feels. But it does look a bit stiff. It does look a bit stiff. Looks good though, man. Graphically speaking, looks very good. It's a story-based game. Poopy Snoopy, you're saying both similar dev times. Who launches first, Wolverine or Fable? Ooh, place your bets. Place your bets. Oh, I don't know, man. I want to say Wolverine just because Insomniac. I mean, they're like, they ship games frequently, but I don't know. I'm starting to think that there might be some real problems behind the scenes with Wolverine because the last thing we heard officially is that they changed directors and we haven't seen anything. At least with Fable, we can say we're seeing footage. So I you know what? I'll give it to Fable. I'll give it to Fable. Just because they're showing gameplay, they're showing footage. And I feel like with Wolverine, we haven't seen literally anything. Nothing. Not this time, dude. Sweet Baby has done a number on him. You think that's what's going on? They're trying to get rid of all the Sweet Baby Ink stuff. I doubt it. I mean, that would be kind of wild. Like to cause like a whole director shakeup, you know, over something like that. That'd be kind of wild. You're saying Fable will definitely be out first, but Wolverine will be better? Probably. Probably. Yeah. But I don't know, man. Insomniac, I don't bet against Insomniac, you know? Not yet anyway. But Guys, we're going to be talking about Sony stockpiling PS5s. Why is Sony stockpiling PS5s? What are they doing? Why are they doing this? We're going to be talking about Spider-Man 3 a little bit, speaking of Insomniac. We're going to be talking about Silent Hill remakes. We're getting more Silent Hill remakes, seemingly, from Bloober Team. And Monster Hunter Wilds PS5 Pro. What's going on there? What's the deal with your zombie game? What game are you talking about, Official Mark? Hanzo says, just give me Saros. Yes. We need Saros. Well, we're going to be seeing gameplay. They did confirm that. Poopy Snoopy, you're saying Fable will do well on PC? Dude, I want to know if Fable's coming to PS5. I think it is. I think it is. It'll probably do well on PC. I just don't know how well. The one thing I do know about Fable is that it's a highly produced game. The production levels on it are very high. The budget is likely very high. And because of this, I do wonder what Microsoft's expectations are sales-wise. And we did hear rumor earlier. I was going to say this year as if we're so deep into the year, but we did hear rumor, I think, a couple of weeks back that these are the reasons why Microsoft is like, yeah, we're going to drop Fable on PS5 day one because it's a very expensive game. State of Decay 3. Oh, I don't know. State of Decay 3. I mean, I guess that'll be a 2026 game, but with Forza Horizon 5 coming soon, you're thinking Fable is coming day one since it's the same studio? Yeah. The stream is glitching big time. Guys, are you having any problems with the stream? Because I definitely have an error on my end. I don't know how it's coming through to you. A little bit. All right. I mean, hopefully it doesn't cause too much of an issue. That's my fault. I put it on the wrong setting. I was trying to switch things up a little bit, you know. But guys, did you hear about this? Did you hear about Sony apparently starting to stockpile PS5s? I mean, this is hold on. Irfin, you covered it on Reddit. Saying the sound keeps cutting out? Oh man, I hope I don't have to restart the stream. The sound definitely shouldn't be cutting out. Let me see if there's anything I can mess with on the settings without having to restart the stream. Just give me a minute. No. See, that's what's so annoying. It doesn't let me edit anything. Wait, it's saying I can change the bit rate? I guess I could try that, see if it helps. I lowered the bit rate. It said it was too high. See if that does anything. Gotta stockpile them before the asteroid hits. Yeah. Yeah, so basically what's going on is Sony is preparing for the tariffs. And it is better now? Okay. All right, well, hopefully that helped a little bit. The tariffs are coming. Hellbound, you're saying the sound is good, picture glitches? Okay. Yeah, I'll have this fixed by the next stream. MBG, you clown Silent Hill 2 combat, and you were wrong. I'm going to wait till we see 1.0 combat before I make assumptions. I didn't clown Silent Hill 2's combat that much. I think a lot of other people were clowning it way more than I was. I thought it looked fine. People were pointing out that Silent Hill 2's combat, like the animation work, looked a little stiff and whatnot. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I can see it. So I'm saying, you know, I'm looking at Fable's combat and I'm like, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But yeah, the tariffs are coming. And Sony is preparing because once these tariffs go into effect, especially if they remain in effect, um, the price of anything being imported from China. Sorry, I had to unplug the mic and plug it back in. Some of you guys are saying the audio is stuttering. But the price of anything being imported from China is going to go up. Essentially, like they're going to be taxed, and it's the import companies or the point is, all you need to know is that the prices of electronics that are not made in America, the prices of these things are likely going to go up in America. And obviously, the PS5, it's $500. So what Sony's doing right now to try to combat this or prepare for it is they're stockpiling as many PS5s as I guess they can. They're like producing them and bringing them. They're just stockpiling them in America. They're bringing it to the country now, so that way they can continue to sell the PS5 at $500. Hopefully, Trump brings more tariffs. He might. So this is obviously. Sony's also saying, I do want to acknowledge this. Sony confirmed it is increasing its supply chains and their flexibility. So they're stockpiling inventory in the US to ensure there's no shortages. But apparently it seems like Sony's in the process of trying to figure out a new place to manufacture PlayStations. And this is going to be really, really important to them because Sony will not be, if they are forced to increase the price of the PS5, that's going to be a huge problem. Huge problem for them. It's going to be a problem for everybody. But yeah, man, I was worried about something like this happening. Xbox will help them. Tariffs could result in a price increase. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's going to be more expensive for them to, sell the PS5 in the US if they continue to manufacture them outside of the US. I mean, I don't know if I haven't been paying too much attention to it, so I don't know if I don't know if everything's going to be tariffed, but I don't know, man. I don't know. If the price of the PS5 goes up, that's going to kill the sales of the PS5, I think. Poopy were saying PS not being American, it should be banned. Ban the PlayStation 5. It's a non-American console. Sure, Microsoft would love that. Yeah, I saw the Fable gameplay. We talked a little bit about it. Bobby, you're saying any idea why these tariffs are happening? Basically, from my understanding, President Trump, he's trying to encourage everything to be made in America, right? He wants to focus on American businesses and also just basically making, everything Trump's doing from what I can tell is an attempt to try to like correct a lot of the financial problems that America has. And a big part of those financial problems are I mean, I don't know if it's the case with China in particular, but definitely with some countries, they kind of take advantage, a little bit of they get a much better deal out of the trade than America does. But I don't know, man. It's a tough thing because America has become so reliant on so many things outside of our country that the idea of like, yeah, we just got to make everything here. I mean, you're talking about potentially decades of having to build certain infrastructure, people having, actually having to learn how to do these jobs and to make these products. It's not going to be hard. I mean, it is going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be complicated. It's going to be difficult. And I think, you know, what Trump's trying to do, from what I can tell, is he's trying to set the wheels in motion for like a longer term change. But is it going to work? It's tough to say. Actually, we're not going to see in 4 years. It's going to take a lot longer than 4 years. See, the problem is that Trump is trying, from what I can tell, he's trying to basically like undo like decades worth of stuff that is like, he's trying to undo knots that I don't know, man. It's gotten so messy and so complicated throughout the years that I don't know that anybody can really just fix it. You know, not to be on the negative side of it or pessimistic, but I don't know that we could just fix it, and I understand the whole idea of like, we got to think about America first, and, we got to think about American jobs. We got to make products in America. We got to think about the American economy. And like, yeah, I'm all for that stuff, but it is very complicated, man. It's very, very complicated, and it's not something that's it's not going to be like a flip of a switch. It's going to take many, many years of kind of almost like creating a new foundation, essentially. Seems like it's being dismantled. I mean, you could kind of look at it that way, where it's like things are being, again, it's kind of like knots being undone. But you know how sometimes when you're trying to undo a knot, you accidentally make the knot worse in the process? It seems like there's a little bit of that potentially going on as well, but I don't know, man. It's a struggle. But the USA literally doesn't have people smart enough to make the semiconductors, and I'm not kidding. I mean that's one way to put it. I think a better way to put it is like, do we have the right people that with the right qualifications? This is why it's going to be a major process. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's not like I have any control over this. It's a flip of increase in taxes. It's like you're trying to go from socialism to socialism from capitalism. Well, that's the whole thing about the tariffs, that, when we talk about the price of the PS5 potentially going up, I mean, the problem that people have with tariffs is it basically is a tax on us, ultimately. Like the government isn't turning to the consumer and saying, we're going to tax you more now. They're not doing that. But basically what's happening is they're putting tariffs on, on the imports, and ultimately that extra 10%, 15%, 25% tax, that gets passed on to the consumer. The import companies are not going to pay it. They're not taxing China. China's not paying it, or whoever we're tariffing, they're not paying it. It ultimately gets passed down to the consumer. And, the companies are not going to pay it. You know what I mean? Like, this is why, you talk about the potential price of the PS5 going up. Sony's not going to pay that. Like, if there's just an overall increase, like, listen, it's going to be 25% more expensive for you now to produce PS5s in China and then ship them to the US and sell them in the US. It's going to be 25% more expensive for you. Sony's not just going to eat that. Most companies are not going to do that, dude. Most companies are going to focus on just pricing their products, matching that tariff essentially, or that tax, and keeping their margins as is. So ultimately, it will get passed down to the consumer. Did you hear about Canada not buying American products due to the tariffs? I saw that. Yeah. Hopefully there's a salary increase to the middle and lower class. Yeah. I mean, there's no denying that the way things have been working, like prior to Trump taking office, there's no denying that many things are broken. Many things are broken. And everybody, I think, has a different idea of what the solution is to fix it. But I think at the end of the day, the one thing that is true and will remain true is that it's going to be a complicated fix. You know, it's very likely that whatever solution you try to deploy is going to have its own set of complications now as well. And this is just the result of, no system is perfect. Is capitalism perfect? No. I mean, is it the best form? Is it the best we have so far? Probably. But is it perfect? No. And we can very clearly see that. So, it's just the nature of all things, man. Yeah, the price of physical games potentially going up. Yeah, it all sucks. You'd prefer tax relief for middle class and a tax bracket adjustment. For a long-term fix, people have to suffer in the short term. That is, believe it or not, like that basically is the reality of it. It just sucks that it's like, why do we have to be the ones? Price of eggs. Apparently the price of eggs are outrageous. I haven't really been eating eggs, so I can't tell you. But that's basically it, right? Like, we have to suffer and deal with it now. It's for the greater good. But I don't know, man. If I'm speaking very probably ignorantly, but just based off of my view, it seems like from what I can tell, a lot of these problems have been brewing for decades. So like every new presidential, candidate and every new administration that gets elected, it's like they can't fix all the problems. They can't fix most of the problems. They kind of just want to keep things from not collapsing. Like just keep it held up. Make sure it doesn't collapse. But there's really no actual focus on fixing the root problem. And the reason why nobody wants to fix the root problem is because, the root problem, the solution to the root problem is we're going to have to basically backtrack a lot of shit. We're going to have to undo a lot of knots, and it's not going to be pretty. And it's going to be rough. And nobody wants to deal with that. And that's why every administration, it's kind of just been like, just pass it on to the next guy. Just pass it on to the next guy. Just keep it going. Keep it going. And this has been going on for literally decades. And that's just my overview, my overhead view of it, where it's like, I mean, you're talking about so much bullshit piled up. Yeah, so many knots. It's like, good luck, dude. Good luck. I mean, you can point the finger at one person, sure, but it's just been years and years and years and administration after administration after administration of just making, I want to say like, it's like, oh, we solved this one problem. No, I know we're talking politics a little bit just because we were talking about the tariffs. We're talking about the tariffs that are, at least Sony's trying to avoid them or prepare for them by stockpiling PS5s. And I'm just going on a bit of a diatribe. It's not really relevant to the greater conversation, but people will suffer for 4 years, then a new government will come in and it will be all for nothing. I hope not. I hope not. If gaming stops working for me, I do fine as a political streamer. Well, that's good to know. Yeah, no, we're still going to talk about Spider-Man 3. I don't know what to expect when it comes. I'm not so much worried about the PS5 because Sony seems to be making necessary preparations, stockpiling. It sounds like they're trying to move where they are going to have them produced. But my real question is for the PlayStation 6. My real question is, if the PlayStation 6 isn't coming till 2028, I'm assuming all the things that we're seeing now are going to be the same at that time, or maybe even more intense. I just wonder what this means for the PS5 or the PS6, man. Yeah, like I hope we're not looking at that. PlayStation 6, $1,000. It's just like that's not going to work, man. That's not going to work. Sony might just have to extend the generation by another like 3 or 4 years. We're going to get the PS6 in 2032, guys. PS6 isn't coming in 2028. As of right now, Sony's plans seem to indicate 2027, 2028, around that time is when the PS6 is coming. So it seems like they're not too worried about what's going to happen for the PS5 because there's only a couple more years left. The rest of 2025, 2026, and 2027, of course. But 2029, book it. I mean, that's the thing. Sony can hold out. They can hold out. It really, I think, also depends on whether or not Microsoft is actually going to release the next generation Xbox in 2026. If Microsoft is planning on going that early, and let's just assume that the next Xbox comes out in 2026 and nobody really cares. It's like, it's fine. It's another Xbox, but it just kind of comes and goes and it's whatever. You know, it's not doing anything. It's very niche. Sony could hold out, man. Like, they could just keep the Pro as the higher end PlayStation console until like 2029 if they wanted. I was going to say that, Irfan, but I don't know. It feels a bit too aggressive, needlessly aggressive. But yeah, I mean, they do have to think of their partner with AMD and the technology, and they've locked in all the technology already that they're going to use. So, I mean, the problem with waiting, like, they can still wait if they really need to, but the problem with waiting is that they're not going to be able to. It's going to be a harder sell. It's like, check out the PS6. It's got technology in it that's like a year and a half or 2 years old. Like, I don't know that I don't know for Sony that would work too well. I think that they kind of want to be on the bleeding edge, but I don't know. The pricing is what's concerning, man, because we are looking down the barrel of a reality where Sony might have no choice but to increase the price of the PS5, bro, and that's not going to be good. I think people will still buy it, but not only is that going to be horrific PR for them, but there's no denying that it would hurt sales. It would probably stop them from getting to 100K. Yeah, 100 million. I said 100K. 100K. 100 million. It'll stop them from getting to 100,000 PS5 sold. But they seem to be preparing. So they opened up the software on consoles. They can get away with increasing prices. People will pay. I mean, yeah, it's not like if the price of the PS5 or any of these consoles, it's not like if it went up, people wouldn't still buy it. They still would, but I think it's a matter of like, it's gonna yield negative results for the overall sales. You know, Sony wants to get to 100 million sold. They want to go beyond 100 million. They want to get to 110. They want to outpace the PS4. And if there's any kind of like price increase for the PlayStation 5 due to the tariffs, that's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. And it also, I don't want to say it spells doom for the PS6, but it really might indicate that Sony might they would have to shift their strategy significantly away from the console, because the console has been the bread and butter for Sony for 5 generations. They don't want that to stop. I think the people who are fans of the console don't want to see that stop. But economic and financial realities may end up being the thing that stops it. And that would be a hell of a thing. You know, like, wow, why did Sony, pivot so aggressively away from the console? It's because the PS6 had to come out at $800. That was it. They couldn't eat the cost on it. I mean, wouldn't that be a crazy thing? The only thing I can figure is Sony can maybe, assuming they don't have to increase the price of the PS5, they can just maybe extend the PS5 generation. Like, there will be a PS6 and a new generation, but the PS5 is going to have to be attached to it. Like, I mean, even more so than the PS4 being tethered to the PS5. I mean, they're going to like make it known that the PS5 is just as important to us right now as the PlayStation 6 is. they might have to do that. And if that's the case, the PS6, I mean, yeah, it'll be cross-gen, but the PS6 is going to end up looking just like a souped-up PS5 Pro. So it's a nightmare, dude. I do not envy Sony right now. I don't envy Hideaki Nishino and what him and his team are planning, because it just seems like it's going to be kind of a nightmare with everything that's going on. Goat Gaming, you're saying your love for gaming has rubbed off on countless generations of gamers. I don't like that. I don't like the way I don't like that, Goat Gaming. Don't say it like that again. Congratulations. Goat Gaming, I'm going to have to ban you. You should be ashamed of yourself, Goat Gaming. Look at your Twitter, bro. Lies. All lies. Get out of here. I don't want your kind here. I do appreciate the super chat, though. Like a 32X on top of a Sega Genesis. Yeah, Hanzo, I don't like the way that was worded, man. Very unsettling. But we'll see what happens when it comes to the PS5, PS5 Pro, PS6, the pricing. We're going to have to wait and see. It's a lot of waiting and a lot of seeing. All lies of Pete. Dude, I just saw the new trailer for Lies of P Overture, I think is what it's called, the DLC. Oh, man. It looks really good. Looks really, really, really good. Very good. Very excited for that. But let's move on and talk a little bit about Spider-Man 3. Nothing too crazy here with Spider-Man 3, but just something that kind of came out of nowhere. Apparently, the voice actor for Spider-Man, Yuri Lowenthal, he plays Peter Parker in the games. He shared some small details about the future of the franchise. So, we'll have some minor spoilers, but he was asked about Peter Parker's role in the next game, and he explained, there are very few things that I can say about this game, but you have somehow landed on the one thing that I can answer, and that's yes, Peter Parker is not gone. He will be part of the next game, and he will not be relegated to the couch. I promise. For those who have finished the game, you will know that Peter effectively passes his web-slinging gauntlet to understudy Miles Morales at the end of the campaign. But it's always implied that this is a temporary retirement, and with the Green Goblin expected to feature in the third game, it seems inevitable he'll be back in business before long. One particularly interesting wrinkle is that there may be 3 playable superheroes in Marvel Spider-Man 3, as the very last scene shows Miles' mom Rio introduce her family to boyfriend Albert Moon. In the very closing shot, we see the back of his daughter, Cindy, who fans will recognize as web-slinger Silk. So, I don't know. What are we thinking about this, guys? What are we thinking about? First off, Yuri Lowenthal confirms, I think, something that was fairly obvious, but he just addresses it that, yeah, like Peter Parker's going to be in the next game, and he's not just going to be chilling on the sofa. He's going to be an integral part of the game. Not too shocking there. What do we think about 3 playable characters, though? See, I get a little bit worried about this because I feel like, I don't know, man. It seemed like it was kind of difficult for Insomniac to properly balance out, Peter and Miles effectively or evenly enough. I think they did a good enough job. I know people criticize Spider-Man 2's story where they feel like it was a bit weaker, or maybe just underwhelming in some cases, or a bit rushed, and I get that. But for me, I never felt like, maybe with like Peter Parker, some people felt like maybe they didn't do enough with him, but it felt overall pretty like an even balance between the 2 characters. The third character will be Mary Jane with 2 stun guns. Oh man. Though, just make the whole game that. I mean, the way she was taking out enemies with her stun gun, Spider-Man and Miles, they gotta Peter and Miles have to like punch a dude like 10 times and knock him out. All she's got to do is just stun gun, and they're done. Yuri Lowenthal on the defense means Peter Parker will be sidelined. I mean, if they're gonna bring in Silk, I don't know. They could do something where it's like maybe you start playing as Miles and they introduce Silk and you play as both of them, but then like at some point in the game, Peter comes back and then you also play as Peter. I don't know. It could get a little bit messy. Could be Venom. Well, I mean, I'm thinking the Venom game isn't real. So Venom could be potentially back for Spider-Man 3, but I'm a little bit worried about Spider-Man 3, just a little bit. I think it'll probably turn out good overall. I mean, Insomniac, they're very good at what they do, and I'm sure that they took some of the feedback. At least you would hope, right? I'm sure they took some of the feedback with Spider-Man 2. And I'm sure they're going to apply that to the third game. But the only thing I'm a little bit worried about, and this is the big thing that I feel like, I hope that by the time Insomniac, like let's assume they're doing a trilogy for Spider-Man 3 Spider-Man games. I hope that by the time they're done, it's not a situation where most people look at it and just are like, man, I wish they would have just done 3 games dedicated to Peter. And then after that, start moving on to other characters. Because the one thing that makes me a little bit nervous about Spider-Man 3 is, again, just having too much going on at one time with multiple protagonists. It seems very ambitious, and I don't know how popular of a character Silk is. I don't know. Like, I'm familiar with Spider-Man, but I feel like I've seen this character a couple times before, but like I don't know how big of a role she's gonna play. Wasn't it supposed to be a trilogy about Peter first? I actually don't know. I'm not sure. Whenever you hear a prominent figure on defense, you know it's not good for our boy Peter. Spider-Gwen. Well, there's also the question of like, how big is Spider-Man 3 going to be? How big is this game going to be? Because I mean, if they make it really big, like significantly bigger than Spider-Man 2, maybe it would be easier for them to kind of balance out having 3 protagonists. You want them to make each of them play more uniquely. Spider-Man, yeah, we did see that. Spider-Man 3 might be split into 2 parts, interestingly enough. This is phase 1, MBG. We got 20 plus years till Spider-Man phase 4. From the leaks, he'll probably be sidelined for a while after Spider-Man 3. Yeah, I don't know, man. I never know with stuff like this because we did get pretty solid details from the Insomniac hack about like what they're thinking about doing for Spider-Man 3 and some of their potential plans. And I think there was an even like really early build of like Spider-Gwen. Not Spider-Gwen, sorry, Silk. You know, you're saying, am I the only one that would be down for another standalone Miles game somewhere down the line? I honestly feel like Miles Morales is the most enjoyable out of the 3 games. Great launch title. No, I think I really enjoyed Miles Morales as well. I think I still kind of stand by this where I feel like the best way Insomniac maybe could have done it. And you know, I have no idea what Spider-Man 3 is going to be like, but maybe the best way Spider-Man Insomniac could have handled Spider-Man is give Peter Parker 3 dedicated games. Give him his own trilogy where, you know, he's fighting, you know, different enemies. You know, like the first game, as you know, we all know what happens there. And the second game focus on Venom. And then, you know, what they did with Miles Morales, I feel like, given how successful Spider-Man Miles Morales was, it wasn't a full-blown game, but like maybe, I don't know, maybe give Miles his own 3 titles. You know, Spider-Man Miles Morales can be the first one. Maybe you can make a second one, maybe in the same size, same scope. But I don't know. It's probably more difficult than I'm making it sound. Boss Man Davey 1980 says, I want a Peter Parker focused game. More triple anus. I mean, that's what worries me a little bit about Spider-Man 3 is I do think that's what people are going to want. I think people are going to want the main focus to be Peter Parker. And, you know, I think they're going to want a heavier emphasis on Peter Parker in Spider-Man 3 compared to what we got in 2. And I don't know if Insomniac comes out and they're like, actually, we're going to have even less focus on Peter Parker because now we're introducing Silk. I'm just a little bit worried, man. You know, I'm a little bit worried that sometimes these studios are a little bit out of touch with what people really want to see and what they're asking for. But then again, Miles Morales did, like I said, it did sell very well. So you can kind of understand how they were like, oh, okay. It's a big problem with most of Marvel's movies too. Instead of focusing on the character, they focus on a bunch of other things. Yeah, I mean, it's a struggle. It seems to be a struggle. And I get it. Like they want to flesh out their stories and they want to have different characters to play as and, you know, to introduce. And that's fine. It's not a bad thing per se, but I just think sometimes the answer is a little bit more simple. It's a little bit more simple than I think maybe they realize. You see some multiverse in Spider-Man 3. I mean, they kind of teased that a little bit in Spider-Man 2. Insomniac's going to do their own twist. Yeah. And that's what I think that's cool. I like that they do that. But I think it's risky in a way. You know what I mean? Because you look at the big twist of Spider-Man 2 and I'm going to be honest, like I don't know that it really resonated in the same way that the twist of Spider-Man 1 did. It's not really a twist, but you know, the way in which they decide to the major plot points, I guess, is a better way to describe it. Haven't we seen Peter's story told multiple times over the years? Yeah, and that's probably another reason. Like, there's kind of this desire. There's somewhat of a desire, I guess, to, you know, do something different, deviate, and I get that. You don't want to just keep telling the same story over and over again, but honestly, sometimes I think that's what people want. Not the same exact story, but something very similar, something familiar. Oh, and here comes Boss. Just something similar. Something that feels familiar to people. Stop that. You want to see a different city other than New York? I mean, they could, I guess, try to find a way to make that happen, but I'm not really sure where they would go. I'm not really sure where they would go. You'd be happy for more Miles and Cindy because Peter's been done to death in movies and games. And that's a fair angle too. You know, I understand that. I understand that angle. Spider-Man lives and breathes New York City. Peter does Japan. I do think that is something that Insomniac's going to have to really think about, because I do think that some people are going to feel a bit underwhelmed if Spider-Man 3 is like, yeah, and we're doing it's the same city again, just, a little bit bigger. He's likely seen no scripts or anything related to Spider-Man 3, just pontificating to keep his job. I mean, I don't know. He said it pretty definitively. That's the thing. He said it pretty definitively. Like, don't worry, he'll be there. He's not going to be on the couch. So I'm sure he has some idea. Obviously, he's not going to, like, if he does know, he's not going to reveal everything. He's got to be very careful. They should make a game based on the current story, The 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. It's epic AF. I saw that. Yeah, Assassin's Creed leaked online. Apparently, somebody said earlier that there's copies being sold on Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, man. What is going on with Ubisoft anymore? I mean, what is going on with them, dude? The problem is Miles Morales has no origin story. It's literally Peter Parker's story with a few twists. Give Miles his stories and baddies. I have heard people complaining about that like they need to give Miles Morales some of his own original stuff or more of his own original stuff to allow him to stand on his own a bit better. Boss, I just put you over there, bro. Come on. You're taking up too much space. You're too big. Come on. I have to turn my chair. I got to turn my chair so he can't. No, boss. Look at all the hair he's getting on my hoodie. In the current comics, Miles is now a vampire. Damn. I had no idea. Stop it. Well, that's pretty much the only update we got for Spider-Man 3, and it's probably going to be some time till we actually... I mean, if we're talking about, like, when are we going to get our first trailer? When's it going to come out? I mean, Spider-Man 3 is probably going to be, like, a PlayStation 6 launch title around that time, I would imagine. Yes, boss is determined. I do want to move on and talk about Silent Hill, though. I want to move on to this topic because you're saying rip in advance to Spidey 3. I hope not, dude. You're saying it's not just a leak. People raise their warehouses of games. Multiple copies are out there. The game is DOA. What? But yeah, I want to talk about Silent Hill Remake because we have news today that seems to indicate we're getting more Silent Hill remakes from Bloober Team. So today, Bloober Team announced that they are working once again with Konami on a new game, and they did confirm that it's a Konami IP. So I guess Bloober Team's making the next Metal Gear Solid. That's the conclusion I've come to. Now, obviously, they're working again with Konami to remake some more Silent Hill games. And this is actually great news. This is great news. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they're going to remake Silent Hill 1. I mean, why wouldn't they? I understand. So people are probably like, well, why would they remake Silent Hill 2 and then 1? Why would they go in this order? Hold on, guys. Sorry. Why would they remake Silent Hill 2 and then do 1? mainly because Silent Hill 2 is the safest bet. It's the most popular game, the most well-known game in the franchise, and I think Konami was just very worried about seeing if this would even work, and so they had to go with the safest bet. But it has worked. It worked extremely well. Silent Hill 2 did amazing, and so Silent Hill 1 is also known to be a very underrated game in some ways and a very good game. I think they should remake Silent Hill 1 now. That should be what they move on to next, and then Silent Hill 3 after that. And then if they really want to take it all the way, do 4. But I think this is great news because I've talked extensively with you guys about Silent Hill 2 Remake and how just shockingly good it was. Like, definitely not what I expected from Bloober Team. I don't think anybody expected that. I think people were very much expecting Bloober Team to underwhelm and underdeliver and not do Silent Hill 2 proper justice. And they knocked it out of the park. I know that there are some people, and I have seen this, there are still some people who think that they still didn't maybe do a good enough job or they changed too much, but you think they should make a new entry? Oh, that would be very fascinating. I mean, yeah, maybe that's even better. Maybe that's even better. I mean, I don't know. I guess it really comes down to what Bloober Team would feel comfortable with and what Konami's comfortable with. I imagine Konami would be comfortable letting them make a new entry, considering how good they did with Silent Hill 2 Remake. But if you're Bloober Team, I don't know. Do you want to take that on? That sounds like a risk. You know, you're coming off the massive success of Silent Hill 2 Remake. You know, and then you dive headfirst into the deep end of we're just going to make a whole new. Yeah, Silent Hill F is still coming. That's going to be a new Silent Hill. I think what they should do is they should just finish remaking at least the first 3 games. Then after that, maybe they can kind of go to take it where they want. You know, maybe then if they remake Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 3 and they both are just as good, then after that, yeah, maybe give them the opportunity to do something original in Silent Hill. I think that, you know, they would have more than earned it at that point. But I could understand from Bloober Team's perspective why they would be nervous to do that because, you know, remaking a game is one thing. You know, taking a storied franchise like Silent Hill and making a brand new story, new characters, you know, making a brand new game from the ground up, it's completely different. So that could very well be the limitation of Bloober Team, where it's like, turns out we can remake these games amazingly well, but maybe if they tried to make a new Silent Hill game, it would just flat out be bad. You know, it's possible. But this was some good news because, again, man, Silent Hill 2 Remake was my game of the year last year. Platinumed it, loved it. And it's just good to see that, like, they're like, yeah, Konami recognizes what they did. Bloober Team's obviously very happy about what they did. And I just hope it's turning out that, and I would have never guessed this, it's turning out that the partnership between Bloober Team and Konami, a partnership that when I first heard about it, I was like, oh, God, really? That was my reaction when I first heard about it. It's turning out to be an amazing partnership. So, really good news there. Konami is coming back in the industry. They will play it safe, especially after the success of Silent Hill 2 Remake. That's what I'm thinking, too. Yeah, I think they're going to continue to play it somewhat safe, but apparently there's a new Castlevania game in development. That's another thing regarding Konami that we've heard about. There's a new Castlevania game in development, and it apparently is going to be revealed this year. I think it's being developed internally by Konami. It's my understanding anyway. MVG Bloopers, the medium was a decent first try for them. They did great with Silent Hill 2, and their next game looks to be incredible. Bloopers improving in all the right ways. Yeah, I mean they're definitely on the up, man. They're on the up. All right, let me get this out of here. The other topic I wanted to discuss with you guys briefly here. You're on hopium that Eric Williams and Santa Monica are doing it. He did say that a long time ago. He's like, yeah, if I was able to make any game, I'd want to make a new Castlevania. There is one other topic that I wanted to cover. Today's stream will probably be a shorter one just because, I mean, none of these topics are really that exciting. You know, I mean, they're interesting, but, you know, they're pretty minor. But Monster Hunter Wilds, this game is coming out, and it's being it is reviewed very, very well. Seems like it's going to do very well, but it seems it's struggling on consoles performance-wise. So Digital Foundry actually did an analysis on all of the base consoles, but they also did a separate PS5 Pro analysis for Monster Hunter Wilds. And it seems like the game, I don't even know that it's unoptimized as much as it's just struggling. Like the engine and the amount of stuff that they're trying to do at one time, it seems like it's struggling on these consoles. Even on the PS5 Pro, Digital Foundry said that the PS5 Pro is the best console to play Monster Hunter Wilds on. But it still struggles a bit. It's not perfect. Like, it's not as ideal as you would expect it to be. On the base consoles, Monster Hunter Wilds seems to be, saying not another Dragon's Dogma 2 situation, it seems that's what we're looking at. On the base PS5, this game is really struggling to maintain. I mean, I think it struggles to even like stay at 30 frames, but especially in the performance mode, it's struggling, and the image quality is reduced greatly. The Series S, it's a joke. So I don't know, man. It's this is one of those things where I have played Monster Hunter in the past, but for those of you who are, you know, longtime Monster Hunter fans, is this normal? Like, is this kind of expected with new Monster Hunter games? Or is this abnormal? Is this kind of surprising? Because I can't tell. I don't know if people are outraged or upset, or if it's just like, it sucks, but we kind of expected this. Releasing broken games at launch is the standard. I mean, I said it's not optimization, but at least a portion of it has to be optimization, right? At least a portion of it, because they're going to release patches to improve it. Well, let me pop out my chat here. I don't know how you get a game in a desert with bland colors and smear it with an ugly blur running at 20 frames per second. Oof. Oh, that's rough, dude. They said it dropped some frames, but not struggling. Well, I mean, what's interesting about Monster Hunter Wilds is, like, the game's going to sell really well regardless. I mean, I was watching the PS5 Pro Digital Foundry video, and it looked pretty good. It didn't look amazing. Like, it's certainly not the best looking game I've seen, and I could see where there's some shortcomings, but generally speaking, I'm like, it looks pretty good. Not bad. Not bad. All right. You never played Monster Hunter? Or is Monster Hunter World a good starting point? I mean, I can't tell you. I played Monster Hunter World, and that was the only Monster Hunter game I ever played. Took me a long time to understand what the hell I was doing. It took me like over 20 hours to feel like I knew at all what I was doing in that game. So take that as you will. Take that as you will, man. The Pro is not the main audience, though. That's true. That is true. Yeah. Most people who are going to play Monster Hunter Wilds are going to be doing so on a base PS5. It still looks pretty decent on a base PS5. Like, it doesn't look horrible. It's not like a disaster. It's not like a train wreck. I'm just saying it has some problems. You know, they're going to need to patch it, I think, a couple times. At least once. One good patch. I don't know how it's doing. Yeah, I didn't. Is it struggling on PC as well? Angry Whale Watcher says you should start with Monster Hunter Rise or Wilds. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna play Monster Hunter for the first time, I mean, probably playing the newest one would be the best way to go. That's why I played Monster Hunter Worlds, because at the time that was it, you know. That was what came out, and I'm like, oh, I never played Monster Hunter before. Let me give it a try. It got pretty addicting, though. I will say, like, I understand the appeal of the Monster Hunter game, the loop, the gameplay loop. You heard Wilds is the easiest one to get into? I mean, that kind of makes sense. I could see how maybe they took in some feedback, and it's still daunting, though, man. Like, I did play the Monster Hunter Wilds beta, and even as somebody who played Monster Hunter Worlds, I can tell you, like, it's still quite a bit. But Angry Well Watcher says Rise runs amazing on the PS5 because it was designed for the Switch 4K smooth 60 FPS. I never played Monster Hunter Rise. Well, what I do know is Monster Hunter Wilds is expected to do very well in Japan. Monster Hunter Wilds is expected to sell quite a few PlayStation 5 units in Japan. It seems to be a game that is going to convince a lot of people in Japan to finally buy a PlayStation 5 maybe and play it. 10 FPS. How will it run on the Switch 2? No, Monster Hunter Wilds is, I don't know. Is it going to come to the Switch 2? I doubt it. If it's struggling this much, like, dude, go look at the Series S version. It's like, oof. Like, I'm just not sure how anybody would want to play it on the Series S. You know? Like, it's genuinely just, like, not good. So I doubt it's going to be able to run on... I mean, I could see why they would be desperate to try to get it to run on the Switch 2. But I doubt it. Wilds sounds more approachable. Wilds has shorter hunts compared to World. I didn't realize that. Yeah, I mean, dude, that was one of the craziest things when I played Monster Hunter World, is like some of those hunts could go for like 45 minutes, and I'm like, this is nuts. I mean, you really get sucked into that loop. But yeah, once I got really good at it, I'm like, yeah, this is pretty sick. It has like a very satisfying, like, the gameplay loop, in my opinion, takes a long time to really get a feel for. But once you do, it's like one of the strongest gameplay loops of like, oh shit, okay. Imagine needing a bathroom break. The base game is fine, but World doesn't peak until you get into the DLC. Really? See, that's what's funny, is because I didn't even play the DLC. That's kind of shocking to hear. Huh. Woke game? Whoa, hold on now. What game is woke, bro? Do I think Fable got delayed because of DEI? No, I don't. I think Fable got delayed because Playground Games has never made a RPG before, let alone a AAA RPG. I guess it would be an action RPG. I don't think it has anything to do with DEI. I mean, Playground Games, they have a lot to prove with this game, dude. So they're gonna delay it, obviously, if they need to delay it. Sounds terrible if a game doesn't peak until DLC. I don't know if I agree with that because I played the whole base game of Monster Hunter Worlds and I didn't get that feel. Maybe the DLC is just that good though. You think it got delayed for PS5? Ironically enough, that could be why. Nate the Hate in the Reset Era forum on the Fable delay thread confirmed Fable is planned for PS5 as well in 2026. Yep, I'm not surprised, dude. I do wonder if that actually is a reason why it got delayed. Because that game was not always planned for PS5. Maybe they want to make sure that's a day one launch. I don't think we'll get confirmation of that, but GTA is more likely the reason. Maybe it's everything combined. It's the fact that they want it day one on PS5. They'll avoid GTA 6. I appreciate letting me know though. I don't follow Reset Era, so or I don't go on there. Fable better not be Avowed quality. Dude, I saw this post on Twitter. It was like a thumbnail of Asmongold. And I don't watch Asmongold, but I was just laughing because it was him with like this kind of like shocked face or whatever, and it said Avowed 0 players with like a down arrow. And the title of the video was like Avowed is a colossal failure or something. Like what the And you know what's crazy, dude? I get gaslit to oblivion. Where it's like, if I even entertain that notion, like, is Avowed doing bad? Maybe it is doing bad. They're like, shut up, you fucking pony. Meanwhile, I'm like seeing videos from some of the most prominent, popular content creators in the world saying it's a colossal failure. And I'm like, oh, shit, I guess it is. I guess it is doing bad. I don't know. I mean, I haven't been paying much attention to it, but it's not, I don't know. The things I've been seeing, it's not too good. Ponies are majestic beasts. Indeed. Gaslit to oblivion. Nice play on words. They say that about every game. I mean, look, man, I'm not saying I put much stock in Asmongold. I just know he's very popular. I don't follow him or listen to him, but I chuckled a bit when I saw that come across my feed. I'm like, Jesus. Like, it was just like so intense. Like, it's a colossal failure. I'm like, what is this? Is this like, what's going on? Check the Google rate on the game. I mean, somebody was asking me to play it, and I don't know, dude. Like, maybe it would be funny. Maybe I gotta get, I don't know. Maybe I gotta think about that. Just trying to force myself to play games I'm not actually interested in playing, but for you guys, I'm gonna fucking play Avowed. Here we go. I feel like that's gonna make me hate gaming, dude. He reacted to a video with that title. Okay. Oh, come on. That. But you're just gonna make the video title your title? MBG plays FIFA with viewers. Oh no. See, there's limits, bro. MBG's cringe play. It's actually a great title, dude. Cringe play. I'm gonna cringe the whole time I'm playing. I have to think about this. This could be lucrative. This could work. I will suffer if I do it, but maybe it'll be worth it. Trying new games is going to make you hate gaming. No, not new games. I just mean basically like just following the flow of games where it's like, you're going to play this, right, MBG? It's like, well, I didn't want to, but I guess I will. Maybe it'll have the opposite. Maybe I'll be like, oh, actually, you know what? Do I have the Dark Souls Remaster Platinum? I never got the Platinum for that. No. I don't know why. But I did play Dark Souls Remastered. I could never get into Skyrim, dude. You downloaded Avowed on Xbox to try it, but then just ended up playing Lies of P and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I've been hearing really good things about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Another game I'm not interested in, but apparently it's very, very good. Believe it or not, I did not get the platinum for either Dark Souls or Demon Souls. I don't know why. For the Souls games, I never really felt the urge to like try to get the platinum. It was always something I was thinking about, but I just get lost in those games and the trophies end up not really mattering to me until like I'm done with it and I'm like, "Oh wait, I didn't even look at the trophies. I didn't even like try to get the platinum." Elden Ring was different. I did play Elden Ring that way, and then the second time around, I went back and I was like, "All right, you know what? Let me see if I can make this the first FromSoft game I get the platinum for," and I did. Wasn't easy. Whatever you play, stay away from Persona, not because it's not fantastic, but because it has literally taken over my life. Oh man, a lot of people tried to get me to play Persona in the past. I would pay you $100 if I could get you to play The Witcher 3. Yeah, dude, it's pretty like there are so many games that I haven't played that it would be I could make probably a whole channel dedicated to just playing them and experiencing them, but I don't know, man. I'm stubborn as a mule a lot of times. Maybe not the greatest trait, not the greatest quality. It has its ups and downs, you know. It can be good sometimes, but other times it can be just doesn't necessarily help me out. I don't know that I would ever play Persona though, man. I feel like that's a bridge too far. Your backlog is 30 games. Jesus. New but old games I didn't play. Shin Megami Tensei is the original Persona. Yeah, what's going on? I've been seeing like rumors pop up for the past like 2 years about Persona 6. But like Novin's yeah, at this point I'm just doing it to spite you, bro. Unknown's like, yeah, it's never happening. All right. Let me So the something I am extremely excited about, by the way, and I didn't have this listed as a topic today, but uh did want to let you guys know Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 have been listed on Singapore's rating board, releasing on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. So this announcement is it's happening. It's happening very, very soon. And I am so stoked for this, man. I don't know that I like I don't know if it's the nostalgia talking right now or whatever, but I am I didn't it seems like it's going to release really soon. Like that's what's interesting. You'll give Phil Spencer credit for greenlighting Tony Hawk 3 and 4. I need to know, yeah, I do need to know the story about this because we covered the other day how these games were originally supposed to be canceled. So I want to know like who's responsible for seeing it, to the finish line. I want to know who's developing it first though, man. Like this could be disastrous because Vicarious Visions was folded into, Blizzard. So, like, I'm going to be nervous if it's like, yeah, here's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 remaster, but not made by Vicarious Visions. I need to know who made it then. Because if it's not Vicarious Visions, I'm going to be very concerned. Shadow Drop, dude, Shadow Drop would be incredible. I don't think they're going to Shadow Drop it, though, because they're doing an announcement on March 4th. So, all you care about is Sports Horizon 5. Bro, I'm telling you, if they don't pick up the pre-orders soon, I'm spending my money on something else. I'm sure they'll open pre-orders soon. You think it will be Beanox? they did the Crash Team Racing remake, and that was really good. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it couldn't be good if somebody else does it. I'm just going to be very nervous because it's like you had a team that did it so perfect. You know what I mean? Like, it's like they did it perfectly. Why would you not have them do the rest? But maybe it is a different team. I just hope they do it justice. If it's as good as Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake or remaster, I'll be more than happy. Because I really, really, really enjoyed that, man. Massive dose of nostalgia. And just in a really fun, enjoyable game. You've got unopened copies of Sifu, Terminator Salvation, and Pacific Drive to play. Nice, dude. Terminator Salvation. Is that Terminator game? Wait, Terminator Salvation. I know there was this Terminator game that came out this generation that like was actually apparently pretty good. It's kind of underrated. I don't know if that was the name of it though. I don't think that was it. I think it was called something else. Beanox worked with Vicarious Visions on 1 and 2 remakes, did they? I actually didn't know that. Okay, all right. I appreciate you telling me, Terrence, because I actually didn't know, and that gives me more confidence if that's what they're doing. Terminator Resistance, yeah, that's the one. Did anybody here play that? Terminator Resistance. Yeah, I heard that game was actually like pretty solid Terminator game, just kind of randomly. It's maybe the same developer that made the RoboCop title, I believe. I know there's another Terminator game in development as well. If Bloober can do Silent Hill justice, then Tony Hawk isn't doomed. People on Reddit are saying Star Wars KOTOR is getting a remake, and the CEO of the company who are doing it, they want to keep it a secret. I don't know. I'd be careful with that one. That game has been in some kind of development hell for a long, long time. You played it recently? Both of them. Terminator and Terminator versus RoboCop. You got the platinum with your nephew. It drove you guys nuts. Well, I do know there is a new Terminator game in development, and I don't even know what it's called, but I do remember seeing a couple of articles written up about it. I think it's going to be like a AAA game or close to it, but I have no idea who's making it. Let me look. Terminator Survivors. Wait, this is out? No, it's coming this year. Okay. Play solo or in co-op, plays a group of survivors in the survival open world return to the iconic Terminator universe set in the aftermath of Judgment Day. Who's the developer? It's in the action-adventure RPG genre. Developer, Nacon Studio. Milan. I don't know. There's no gameplay. It's going to be a $60 title. Yeah, I'm very skeptical. How bad will it be? I mean, it would be cool if it wasn't bad and it was actually good, but I don't know. I don't know about this. Good luck, Meet the Cheater. I think it's going to take like 200 plus hours. So guys, we're about to hit the hour and a half mark, and what I'm going to do as a bit of an experiment, I'm actually going to end the stream. All right? Keeping it short today. I want to see what the viewership looks like on a shorter stream. Normally we do really long streams, but, not a whole lot of topics right now. Not a whole lot to say. Not a whole lot going on. And I pretty much exhausted everything I could say about these topics. So I want to actually experiment and end the stream at the hour-and-a-half mark. I have seen some people telling me they want me to do shorter streams. So I want to see, I just want to see. I want to see what happens. I want to see what the viewership looks like. But guys, that's going to wrap up today's stream. I want to thank you for hanging out with me, for chilling and listening to me kind of just go on and on about Terminator. But yeah, please enjoy the rest of your day. I want to give a big thank you to everybody who dropped any support. If you dropped any super chats, I very much appreciate it. Hit that like button on your way out. Also want to give a shout out to Devil Shooter, who does the timestamps for the stream. So if you see him in the comments below, give him a thank you, show him some love. I know he really appreciates it. But that does it, guys. I'll catch you in the next stream. Just be on the lookout for that. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. I will catch you in the next one. So till next time, take care, everyone.